be of one heart and mind within your holy church, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Okay.
As we go through this conversation and discussion, is this working? Is the microphone working? Yes. Okay, I'll speak up. Can you hear me? Next order of business is the appointment of our recorder, our clerk, Miss Janine Russell. Russell has been designated as the appointee. Has anyone any commentary or objection? So noted. By acclamation, Janine is appointed the clerk. We also have copies of the minutes from last year in the packet. Those were sent out last year and revised according to any comments that came back. The vestry has had a chance to review them and has approved them. So these are also approved pending any comment or objection from the floor. No objection noted, they are approved. To note and recognize the outgoing vestry members, so I would ask the people to stand. Myself, Adam, Judy, who I don't see here, and we have a vacancy from where Brooke had resigned. So we have the outgoing vestry is the vacancy from Brooke, Adam, myself, and then Judy Yates. Judy's term is a one-year term to fill the position that was open, that she came in. The rest of ours are 3-year terms. Okay, thank you. Judges of election will be Jack Afakian and Adam if we have to do a count. But our next order of business is the going through the selection of new vestry members. Adam, would you like to explain how we're going to do this?
Good morning. Back in November and earlier this month, the administration committee met as the ad hoc elections committee, and we nominated a slate for the vestry that you see in your packet and below on this agenda. Now, there is a written ballot containing all the names of the candidates that have been submitted. The qualified voters are the adult communicants in good standing of the church as registered by the parish. All ballots have write-in lines for any write-in candidates that may be nominated from the floor. Proxy voting is not allowed, so that means you vote for you and no one else. The vestry members whose term has expired are charged with collecting and counting the ballots, which we will do. As I said earlier, nominations can be made from the floor on the day of election, provided such persons are nominated or certified as communicants in good standing and have agreed to serve if elected. Candidates nominated through this process shall be write-in candidates. Each qualified voter shall mark no more than the number of existing vacancies. Additional selections may be required if a vacancy is in a one-year unexpired term to be filled. Of the candidates standing for election, those receiving 1/2 of the total number of votes cast shall be declared to be elected on the first ballot. If any position remains to be filled, a second ballot will be prepared with the names of all candidates not yet elected. Voters will be asked to vote for the same number of candidates as there are positions to be filled. The candidates who receive the votes in the number greater than 1/2 of the majority of the votes cast on the second ballot shall be declared elected on the second ballot. In the event of a tie of the second ballot, additional ballots will be taken. That being said, we have a slate of 4 people to fill 4 vacancies. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Adam. So no questions. I want to introduce our slate of nominees. So as I call your name, please stand. I believe they're all here at the moment. So Sam Neal, Mark Joyce, Lynn Cross, and Sue Justice. So these people have all agreed to stand for vestry in this election cycle. Folks, please support them. This is not a light undertaking, and believe me. Thank you very much. So these are our current slate of nominees. You may be seated. Are there any nominations from the floor? No? Having no nominations for the floor, I move that we accept the 4 candidates as presented by acclamation and not have a vote. Seconded. Having so moved and seconded, I call for a voice vote. All in favor of accepting our 4 nominations to the vestry, say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? By acclamation, the 4 are accepted. Thank you very much. Wow. That was easy. Ms. Jan, would you please give us our overview of our finances?
Okay. So actually, I'm going to start off. Can you hear me, first of all? Okay. So starting off with our stewardship campaign that we had. We received 79 pledges this year for a total of $243,650. Total pledge funds received in 2025 was $266,053, which was 108.3% of what had been pledged. So the folks who made pledges actually contributed more than they had committed to. We anticipated that we would receive another $21,000 from parishioners who just don't pledge. They make donations to the church, and there was another $21,000. That's what we had budgeted for and what we anticipated. We actually got $27,700, so 132%. So clearly, when we were talking about, we're concerned about what's going to happen this year, y'all heard it, and you stepped forward, and we appreciate that greatly. It was recently pointed out to me that the structure of our church is like a boat, and we are all passengers within it. We are a community that comes together to support each other and to support this parish. So thank you. Thank you all. Heading into 2026, now we only received 70 pledges, and the total amount was $226,000. It is a reduction of about $40,000 from what we got for pledges, commitments last year. Okay, that is significant. But there is good news. We are starting in a good place. Okay, between the additional funds that we received, between the savings that we received from Mother Judy being an interim rector, we didn't have to pay for her health insurance. She also changed her hours, she reduced it, so what we had to pay her was less. That means that we're actually starting this year in a very good spot. We started 2025 with $177,000 in our bank account. We're starting this year with $242,000. So quite a bit more. We were able to save money in a variety of ways. People stepped up, helped with the funding. We're in a good spot. Our figures were reviewed by Canon Woodfin a couple of months ago. Okay, before he came in to preach with us, he actually met with us in the fall. And he looked through the numbers. We talked about what was going on. We were looking at what we wanted to do this year. You know, get a full-time rector or a priest in charge, somebody to be here. And his opinion of our finances is that we were actually in a good spot and financially stable and ready to receive a full-time rector if somebody with a calling can be found. So that's great news. Okay. There is some news, but this is more informative. This is just so you guys know what's going on. Every parish in the diocese, every parish within the country ends up being assessed a fee, a diocesan voluntary, it's called voluntary giving, but they tell us how much it is. Okay? That voluntary giving is based on the monies that we bring in to cover the operating expenses of the church, turning on the lights, keeping it warm, paying salaries. We are assessed 10% of the first $150,000 and then 12% of everything after that that goes to the operating expenses of the church. We send that to the diocese. We send them a quarterly payment. In 2025, that dollar amount was $38,000 and change. In 2026, it's going to be $43,000. So it went up. Okay, that's not a bad thing. It means we brought in more money. Yay, that's good. The fees, the way it's calculated is based on the year before. So what we paid in 2025 was based on what we brought in 2023. So the way the timing works is 2025, I will be working with the vestry to put together a report to the parish, and they will use those numbers to calculate what we pay in 26. So it's kind of like a 2-year look back. All right, so it tends to skew things just a little bit, makes it kind of interesting. Because of that, and because of some of the challenges that we've seen with reporting these numbers, I've actually reorganized the budget a little bit. And if you've picked up the budget, it's out in the narthex. If you pick up the budget, if you want a copy of it, let me know. We can send it to you, no big deal. But what we're doing is we're actually breaking out within the budget those monies that go to operating expenses and those monies that are designated to our ministries. And we have quite a few of them. You know, we've got Food on Foot. We have our outreach programs. We have the flowers up on the altar. These are all ministries. And therefore, they're not assessed as part of that 10 or 12%. So I broke up the budget to make it easier to calculate those numbers. The other thing I did, and it's a rather significant change, it's going to skew some of the things that you might look at if you do a year-over-year compare. What we have done in the past with the budget, with the ministries, is we tried to guess. It's an educated guess, granted, but how much money is going to be designated towards that ministry, and how much money is that ministry going to spend? And we've been finding that we're off a little bit. So what we did with this year's budget to make it easier to know exactly where we stand with that cash flow is for the programs. Unless there was money that they had that carried forward, like ECW had money they carried forward, okay? Unless they had money that they carried forward, we put a 0 in there. So what we're looking for you to do if you want to support a ministry is when you make that donation, if you write a check, write down, designated to flowers, Food on Foot, outreach, whatever it may be, okay? That way, we can make sure that we're recording it properly, and we're able to say, you brought in this much, you spent that much, there's a surplus or a shortfall. And we can address that. Just like at the end of, 24, we talked about we didn't have people signing up for flowers. We had a shortfall. By the way, we have a shortfall on that again, just saying, okay? That way we know what we're doing. The other thing that we did for most of our operating expenses, we assumed that prices were going to go up, so I added 10% over what we spent last year. The cost of our flowers, FYI, is going up 25%. For the first time in years, in several years, they came to us and said, we just can't do it for $100 a week. So now they're going to charge us $125. So if you want flowers up on the altar, please sign up on the board. We're still asking only for $50 from you, but please sign up. If you want flowers, we need you to do that. If there's a ministry that you feel passionate about, please make a donation, but designate it to that. Because otherwise, if you don't tell us, it goes into our operating funds and we pay 10 or 12%. Does that make sense? Are there any questions about any of that? Mr. Othakian, yes. Oh, he's just messing with me. So, I guess that's it. That's the bottom of my page. If you have any questions, I'm happy to take them now. I'm happy to take them after service. I am happy to receive an email, phone call, text. Reach out to me, let me know. We want to be very transparent. One of the other things that I will be doing every month now is I will be giving you a budget summary in the All Saints and the Saints Alive. So I will be tracking that and presenting that to you. It's still going to be very high level. Donate contributions, funds that are brought into the various ministries, and then the expenses. But it's going to be at a high level. So like all of the payroll will be one number presented. Okay? So that way, hopefully, people will feel more informed about where do we stand, and if we are seeing a shortfall, I will bring it to your attention. Okay? Any questions? Then I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jan. Jim Fuhr, I did not check. Yes, sir. Thank you. Would you like to come up? Jim is going to give us a report with the foundation.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
I'm Jim Fuhr, and I'm the Assistant Secretary of the All Saints Foundation Trust. And a little bit of history in the beginning. Foundation Trust was initiated in 2002 by a group of forward-looking individuals who wanted to take endowment gifts given to the church, invest those gifts, and use the proceeds from those investments as an additional income stream for the church to fund programs, projects, some designated, some what was not designated would go to the church budget. Right now, there are a total of 18 endowment accounts, 18 gifts that are invested and provide an income stream to the church. Now, the main mission of the foundation is to preserve those gifts going forward. Only use the proceeds, the investment proceeds from those gifts, so that those gifts will always be there in the future, and there will always be some type of income stream from the foundation. The foundation is managed by a group of trustees consisting of the senior warden, the treasurer, and 3 members of the parish. Right now it consists of Colleen Andrews, Mark Doherty, Jan Fiengo, and Howard Monty. 2025 was a good year for the foundation. The stock market was kind. We made approximately 14% on our investments, and the foundation balance is now $1.141 million. Over the past 24 years of the foundation, the average annual return has been over 10%. So there have been some good years and there have been some bad years, but overall it's been very profitable. The trustees meet 4 times a year, and in October they meet and evaluate the performance of the portfolio and determine what grants can be given to the church for the following year. So the grants for the 2026 budget, there are $75,000 of undesignated grants, an additional $19,000 of designated grants going to specific programs, for a total of $94,000. Total grants to the church over the life of the foundation are now up to a total of over $700,000. The Foundation Trust is a very unique program. In fact, we're one of only 6 parishes in the diocese that has an active program. That's 6 out of 46 parishes. So like I said, when it was created, it was very forward-looking, and it was a way of providing an income stream for the church in perpetuity. Our budget consists of the big expenditures, as Jan said. Salaries is the major line item. Operations is next. And we have a small line item for programs and outreach. So the foundation is very critical in funding our various programs, and especially outreach. And I know All Saints has always been very determined to and build their reputation on outreach activities, and so the foundation provides a large amount of the income for that. In closing, I'd like to ask you, when you look at your financial planning or your estate planning, think about a gift to the church. It's, as Uncle Eddie says, it's a gift that keeps on giving. So, anyway, I urge you to leave a legacy to All Saints Church. If you have any questions, you can contact one of the trustees. I think we have some brochures in the narthex also. So please think about leaving a legacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, Stewardship Committee and Financial Report, you already did that. So we've already selected our new slate of vestry. So it's my turn to talk. My apologies. I'm going to stand. I also, I have a full report in the packet. I will not read this to you. I am not capable of just reading what is already written in front of you, but I will want to cover some highlights. So first, I want to make sure to give a tremendous thank you to Mother Gigi. She spent the last year, year and a half really, helping to shepherd and lead this parish. She extended her time with us as an interim rector to help us cover a period of transition when we were not able to find a rector who was called to serve with us last year. Her dedication to this parish and the time that she gave to us is one of the reasons why we are in such a good financial position, because much of the spending that we had anticipated for a new rector, we did not have to do. And because of what she has done, we have been able to maintain services as a normal state of operations rather than the cycle of interim rectors and morning prayer, which is what we are faced with going into this coming year. I also want to thank Ms. Judy Yates for stepping up and being senior warden to finish off last year. She has really helped organize and guide the administration and set up for this parish to set up for this year to be in a very strong position. Without her leadership, we would have not been where we are, and we would have been struggling to get started for the year. I'm not very good at putting out thanks. There are many, many, many others who have stepped up and contributed to the daily operations and the activities within the parish. I don't have them listed out here, but anything that we have going on in terms of the services themselves with the worship committee, the altar guild, sound and the choir, or in our outreach programs, from our breakfast to food on foot to daily bread to what we just did with opening the parish hall as a warming shelter. These are all activities that are led by members of our parish and for which we need participation and help. So if you have any interest at all, there is a place within the parish, there are activities within our congregation that have room for you to step up and contribute what you can. Please, I would ask that you do so if you feel called to do so. Beyond the volunteering and the participation that we do, Jan had covered that we're in a tremendously favorable financial position based on where we thought we would be. This is absolutely true. We are $58,000 better at the end of the year than where we thought we would be. We have enough cash on hand to continue operations for a couple of years at our current level of budgeted levels of income and spending. It is still in a bit of a challenge. The budget that we have for this, or the results we had last year and the budget we have for this year, does not truly factor in the cost and expenses around having a full-time rector. For us to do that, we need to stabilize and grow and get better. We have been extremely conservative in the way we have set our budget and our financial position for this coming year. Where last year we budgeted income of 426, we had $510,000 that came in between designated funds and the pledges. Next year it is 426. So we're budgeting next year, I'm sorry, this year was 456. Next year we're budgeting 426. We're budgeting a reduction in income. That's based on the pledges and the activities that we've actually seen to date. We can hope that they come in higher, and I want to speak a little bit to what Jan was talking about in terms of our designated offerings. I think we're going to have a much stronger position on that. But there is a challenge in front of us going forward. So we have the cash on hand to continue operations for a couple of years. But in that time frame, we've got to stabilize and rebuild our income base. On the expense side, Jan had mentioned that we've zeroed out the line items for our outreach programs. This is true. This does not mean that we will not support our outreach programs. We will support our outreach programs. We will do it through designated giving and offerings. If there are shortfalls in designated offerings versus what we need to spend for outreach, then the vestry will consider those and see what we can do out of our general operating funds. But having those lines designated as spending from the designated operating funds was not representing how we were actually trying to fund these programs. May I use the Food on Foot as an example? So the Food on Foot, as an example of that, last year we spent $3,973. So we had donated $2,075, so that's $1,890, almost $1,900 gap in difference in what we spent versus what we actually brought in. What we budgeted was $3,300. So we budgeted $3,300. We spent $3,900. We took in just over $2,000. So the remainder of that, fortunately, was covered from the ECW. The ECW decided to make a grant to cover that almost $1,900 to cover the actual expenses. For this coming year, the budget line item is zero. We are relying on designated gifts and offerings for that and all of our other outreach programs. So if you have programs that you want to help and participate in and fund, having those designated is going to help us from two sides. One, it will make sure that the funds are going directly to the outreach programs that you want to support. And the second is it helps us in our assessment, our tax from the diocese, in that designated funds are assessed, not assessed at all, versus anything that goes into the general operating fund is. So where we have, and I don't have the number here, but it's close to $38,000 that we're going to spend in our assessment this year, which is 43. So it's a significant increase from previous years. And our assessment for this coming year is going to be based on 24. Yes. And then in 2 years, since we had such a windfall in general income, we are going to see a significant increase in our assessment. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure, I'm happy to sit and talk with you and step through the mechanisms of this, but what I want to make sure you are aware of, that just because we have zeroed out the budget items on our outreach programs does not mean that we will not be doing outreach. We will be doing outreach. We're going to do them with designated funds and solicitation on can we fund our activities, and if we come up short, then we will go with the vestry and make those decisions in the moment rather than trying to plan it out, which we are never accurate on anyway. Okay, next point, and this is my next big ask. We have an opportunity as we go into we're finishing with the transition with Mother Gigi is now out of the parish. We do have the diocese working to find and select a priest in charge for us. That is actively going on, but we do not have a person yet identified or close to being identified in the next month or two. We need people to come and be in our parish. Having online presence is great, but if you can be here with the community and support our other congregation members, there is a tremendous strength that grows from that. And I would ask that you come and participate in our services and in the activities that we hold. Everything from the study groups to the Wednesday afternoon sessions that have been hit and miss, to any of the other activities that we have going on in the church. If you can make time to come and be here for those, that is a tremendous help to our community. And I would ask that you do that. The next points I want to make are, I want to go to the vision and mission as defined by the diocese. They did this about 1.5 years ago, and I think they're extremely strong points, and these I am going to read directly. So the vision from the Diocese of East Tennessee. This is our guiding light, our North Star. This is what should be in front of us as we do our activities. We seek to be a healthy system of Christ-centered communities marked by prayerful practices, spiritual maturity, faithful action, and joyful worship. That should be in front of us in the activities that we're doing and what we are putting in front every day. The mission is how we do these things, or what we are trying to accomplish. What is it we are trying to accomplish? The mission from the diocese: to equip disciples of Jesus Christ to grow and be grounded in the reconciling witness of the gospel, for the love of our neighbors and all of God's creation. So we seek to be a healthy system of Christ-centered communities. We are doing that. If you haven't seen it, then you haven't participated in what we've done with the ecumenical services between our sister churches that are nearby. We're really working to do that. This is what we want to accomplish. We want to make sure that we are being a reconciling witness of the gospel. The request I've made where we have people coming and being more present in our activities, our services and activities, should support this mission. It fits well within the vision of the diocese and what we want to accomplish as a church. We have just elected a new vestry. We will be having a vestry retreat next Saturday on the 14th. In that, there will be selection of who's going to lead which of our ministries and programs within the church. We will elect a new senior warden. We will elect a new junior warden. Unfortunately, I'm wearing both of those hats right now, and I am no longer available. If you have thoughts, questions, and comments, please see one of the vestry members and work to, again, be active and participate with them and put your thoughts and ideas forward so that we can have that vestry leadership actually working towards what you want to accomplish as a parish. My final words are really just thank you. As junior warden for 2 years, as senior warden for 2 weeks, you would be amazed how many people have come forward and offered support and love for the work I'm doing. I have felt very supported in that. Thank you. And I would just ask you to read through the comments. If you have questions on any of them, there's a lot more in there. There's a lot more in the general reports from our other vestry members. If you have questions or comments on them, I am happy to sit and discuss them in detail with you. Okay. And we are a little bit ahead. Are there any that wish to speak from the floor? We have about 10 minutes. Ginger, did you want to or not? No? Okay, having no further comments or questions, I call for an adjournment. Does anyone second? All in favor of adjournment? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. May I have a hand in relocating chairs and table? No. A hand, okay, I need physical work.